What's up, guys? It's your favorite dynamic duo here. Today, me and H and Albatross, we're going to be discussing our own personal motto: fudge the rules and just have fun.
And sorry, no, guys, there's no actual chocolate involved. We're talking about rules for RPGs and how they affect story progression.
Let's get it.
So, Spigs, fudge the rules. What does that mean? What are we talking about here?
I'm so glad you asked. Fudge the rules to me is not what I think everyone would think. We're not saying, hey, don't use the rules, because then you're just playing make believe. It's not a RPG. What I feel about fudge the rules is you do not need to know every single rule memorized when you sit down to play an RPG.
Oh, for sure. And that's what seems to be the most intimidating factor about most
Mm,
RPGs to anyone. Not just, I mean, Cypher System has, some stuff to learn, but even games like D&D, Pathfinder, whatever have you,
mm,
people get intimidated by newcomers, especially,
mm.
can get intimidated by the amount of information put out there. And what most or all of these books are, they're guidelines. They're not
Absolutely.
um yeah, it's not anything set in stone. It's not a Bible or anything like that. It's for you to use as you see fit.
Yeah.
um and yeah, when you get too bogged down on knowing the specifics of the rules, it really slows down your story. It can really pull the players out of the game,
Yeah.
and it can really, you think you're doing good by going by the book, but it kind of really detracts.
I think the biggest aspect of any game, regardless if it's a tabletop RPG or a board game, the ultimate goal is to have fun. Fun should take precedence over any other thing. So, it's fun, then story, then rules. If the rules are getting in the way of fun at the table, then why worry about it? You could always look up a rule after the session, and everyone could still have fun and go, hey, we messed that rule up. So what? We'll get it right the next time. You should never play a game, stop mid session, mid action to look up a rule. I just think it breaks immersion.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest hindrance is the immersion breaking.
Mm,
Let's say you guys are, talking to some innkeeper, whatever have you, you guys are you smell the aroma of, the coffee brewing and the coffee house or
mm,
whatever.
mm,
You hear the chatter of the NPCs talking in the background, and then suddenly you go to make a roll for something, and if you're uncertain about the rules to the roll, and then you're going into the book to look it up, you like, now the players are forgetting about the smells of the cafe and the NPC chatter. Now they're thinking
mm,
more about, the mechanics of the game, which really, don't matter too much as far as the story goes. Which is,
yeah,
I mean, I know I don't know what other people aim for when they run games, but for me, it's a collaborative story effort, and the rules are more of a guideline to help that
yeah.
process. They're not the end all be all.
And don't get it wrong, because I do understand that there's some people that take enjoyment from mastery of rule sets. And once again, you can't have fun wrong. So I'm not
For
here to
sure,
tell
yeah.
you. I'm not here to tell you if that's what you enjoy, then you shouldn't do it. You know, but in the case of running a game, if that's the case, I'm gonna take that person that I know he enjoys mastering rule sets, and I'm gonna say, hey, for this session, if I get a rule wrong or if we need to know something, I'm just gonna ask you mid game. You're gonna give us the answer, and we're gonna run with whatever you tell us. But we're not pulling out books or PDFs to figure out, hey, what's the encumbrance rule? Like it just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. As far as long as all the players and the GM are on board with it, whatever the GM says for the rule, if no one is certain, if we're at the table, there's four players, a GM, that's five people
Mm,
total.
yeah.
If none of them is 100% certain on the ruling, then it really defaults to what the GM says at that point. And even if a player thinks it's wrong or contradictory or something, fudge it.
Yeah.
We're fudging it. Just to keep
Yeah.
things moving. And then after the session, because the session, taking a time to look in a book to find the exact wording for something or the exact meaning or whatever behind something takes time, and all that time could just be spent, actually playing the game.
Yeah.
Um, and then after the session, you can say, hey, let's look it up. We have the time now. We're not playing anymore. Let's look in the book and say, oh, hey, it's actually this way. And then the next session, we'll run it right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care how experienced you are. Every GM, it's impossible to memorize every rule from any system perfectly. I mean, I've ran, maybe I had my longest run was probably 3.5 D&D, and I ran it for like 10 years. And I like to think I knew the rule set, but every session I would get a rule wrong. It's just, that's the nature of the beast. That's what it is.
And even with a game as simple, or excuse me, a system as simple as the Cypher system, I find myself
Yeah.
like finding out little things here and there, like, oh, hey, like that's how that works, or hey, this is how this should work, like, and it's all because you don't get to really, you might read the book, but you don't get to experience every facet of the book, you know, firsthand
Yeah.
until you're actually doing it. And then, when it's actually happening, it's better to, like, if you're not certain, again, you fudge it just to keep
Yeah.
things moving along.
It also doesn't hurt that the cipher system is built in a way that it's so easy to improvise a rule. Like, if you don't know something, you give it a difficulty number and go, hey, roll to this, give me an intellect based roll, try to get higher than a difficulty 3, and then you keep it moving. That might not be the rule, but it's a quick way to get resolution for whatever problem you have, and then you move on and worry about it later. But I
Yeah.
think too, especially younger GMs, I think they tend to want to harp on what they don't know, as opposed to, let's just tell a good story together. Let's tell a narrative that we all enjoy. Let's do cool, crazy gonzo things. Let,
Or
let's
even on the other hand, you can still play a very serious game. You don't have to go over the top. It doesn't have to be any gonzo or whatever. You can, even in those sort of games, it's very easy to just move it along by just saying, hey, this is how it's gonna be, instead of saying, hey, let's look it up and be 100% sure this is how the book wants it done. Because again, that breaks immersion, and immersion is really what you're going for. Immersion is
yeah.
storytelling. Um, yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty cut and dry. If you want to tell a story and you want to keep everybody engaged and involved, don't worry so much about the rules.
Yeah, and
It's pretty
that
straightforward.
that's all we're about here. It's fudge the rules and just have
That's
fun.
how it's done. If you
Yeah.
like this video, don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe. And if for anyone that doesn't know, we both run Cypher System Unlimited Discord channel. The link is going to be down below.
Somewhere down here, somewhere we're going to use, maybe,
And
I don't know.
Unmasked came out today
Oh
on
yes,
D.
unmasked. Yes, very
Go to
exciting stuff.
go to Monty Cook Games and pick that up.
There will also be a link to Monty Cook Game Store and even Unmasked specifically for those of you who are interested in a teen superhero type setting with some psychological horror aspects.
Ooh.
Alright, guys, it's been great. So, you know how it is. Fudge the rules.
Just have fun. We out.